Welcome to Multiversial, a show where a judge introduces a world that is just like ours, but with one key difference, to our two master debaters to argue and see if it's plausible and how. It's like explaining that all the what happened under socialism pictures are kinda actually all under capitalist countries. I am your judge today, Leia Gray Fox, and allow me to introduce you to our debaters. First off, we have the incorrigible, sensational, and, might I add, sexy Jennifer.
Thank you.
And there's Deacon.
Okay.
I'm surprised that you didn't make a Mass Effect joke with Mass Effect being this week.
I'm so mad at myself. All right, but let's talk about today's topic. Are you ready?
Yes, I'm so ready.
Okay, so, and this is just something that popped into my head because I've been reading a lot of superhero comics again. So,
Ready.
We are taking you to a world where at the pubescent age, so, you know, around 12, 13, depending on your body chemistry and everything, you will develop superpowers only if you're queer. So anybody who's a member of the Alphabet Mafia, the LGBTQIA+, or, you know, like you could be trans, you could be, you know, intersex, you could be asexual, gay, lesbian, bisexual, any of them, right? You will develop superpowers. And the funny fact is, the more I thought about it, I was like, well, that would be the sign, too. Just, you know, you're 12 and your sink is on fire. You're like, I guess I'm queer.
So, 70% of us would have superpowers. Because, yes, I do think that's how high the percentage of queer people.
Yeah. We would really be able to see if we're a minority or not. But yeah.
Leia, this is the world that we live in now. You weren't supposed to spoil that this was.
Oh my god, no, you're right. Oh my god, was I drunk when I came?
No, it's totally not real. This is a fictional.
This is a
world.
fictional thing. This isn't real.
It's not real.
None of us have
Yes.
superpowers.
It's about real things.
Yeah, the real thing. The only superpower we have is the ability to,
what?
you know, be sassy.
Wow. Okay,
Oh, man.
so.
And I specifically rendered it at, like, and this is a topic that I'm bringing up, I specifically mentioned puberty being the catalyst for your development, so you wouldn't be like a baby lighting shit on fire or turning things to ice, and then having a bunch of weirdos kill babies.
You don't want to be Jack.
No.
You saw a bunch of weirdos trying to kill kids, though. That's still not Cash Money.
Well, the X-Men taught us how to defend ourselves, I guess. I bet you can't guess what inspired this!
Yeah,
I
Invincible just came out, and it is very mature rated, lots of gore. Just throwing that out there now. Very good though. Wow, superpowers.
The memes are phenomenal.
And they're all random, so like some people would obviously get powers that, you know, would be more desirable, and then other people would get powers
Now my
that...
question is though, are they genetic? Like, obviously, you have to be queer to have them, but for example, would you have a family of just fire superheroes?
You know, I would say it's completely random.
Completely random, okay.
And it would really go to show, like, would queer families be like, oh, just super inclusive there? Be like, yeah, my son has fire powers. You know, it's weird because I have ice powers, but, you know, we make it work.
So, I'm trying to decide if secret identities would be a thing. Like... Because when it comes to the
probably
idea,
not, because if so, I would say probably not.
it's majority, right?
Yeah, if you know, sure, I'm queer and I now have a superpower. You know, if any, you know, normie was gonna step to me, I have fucking superpowers.
I know, right? That's what I'm saying. That's what first I'm like. I think in this kind of world, secret identities wouldn't be a thing, especially like queer people who a lot of us have to already put on a secret identity.
Oh my god,
So, like,
queer people really do.
We would make a world where we would not need secret identities.
You know what's really funny? You know how people are like, this is my fursona, this is... Have you noticed that queer people have straight sonas?
No.
Think about it.
I mean, now that you're saying it, like, I haven't thought about it is what I'm saying. Now I'm thinking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have straight
And
sonas.
multiple times where like, I mannerisms where you can kind of tell that I am a gay human being, but like at the same time, most people, like, whenever I first meet them or whatever, they're like, oh, I had no idea, at least for the first couple of weeks before I start, but it's always like whenever I first meet somebody or when I'm in a situation where, especially, where I live, where like I definitely like try to come off like I am a straight person.
Oh, for sure.
Because I don't want to die.
This question's also great. This world is great because we're actually the week before Pride Month, so it's perfect timing when this goes live.
Yep.
But I'm just trying to think. It's like if queer people had superpowers, we would be a much queerer world, right? Like, I don't want to bring it into the fact that like, we'd take over the straights. Like, it's not even about that. It's just like, I know it sounds awful, but having something that people fear in a majority would definitely put us in a place where like we would not get messed with as much.
I feel like people would mess with queer people a lot less if they were like,
yeah,
what if that dude can put on spikes?
Right. Like, it's sad because, like, honestly, I know a lot of people always like hope they get superpowers, right? I'm probably one of the people who don't. If I were gonna ever have a superpower, I'd want super speed because of my workload. That's maybe about it. But like, I never hope to be a superhero. I never hope to like do any of that kind of stuff. So I'm just trying to like, and I feel like queer people have that a lot. Where really at a point, a lot of what they think about is living a normal life or living like.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to think how superpowers, how literally being special would be like the weirdest thing where it's like, I mean, I'm glad I can be who I am, but do I need to be able to like light things on fire with my mind? Like, did that have to be something I got? I'd be frustrated.
I'm gonna be real, like, and it would just be so wild about you would definitely know if you were queer or not. Like, there would be you wouldn't be able to deny it because it's in your fucking genes.
Yeah. There would be no more argument about, like...
Is it a choice? Be like, well, I didn't choose to sneeze fire, but here we are.
Definitely.
But at the same time, it would still leave a bit of self-discovery out there because you would know that you were queer, but not necessarily know exactly how.
Definitely. I was thinking that too. It's like, could you imagine thinking like, no, like I'm totally straight. Achoo, sneezes fire. Shit.
And I want to bring this up to a degree, right? I really do believe that the world is much queerer than we think.
Oh yeah.
And it's,
Absolutely.
even older generations, because like I have had conversations with older generations who they are closeted queer people and they don't even see it. And then you can't really shatter the glass for them.
Yeah. Well, especially too, like we've had certain adult folks in our life who have been like, yeah, I thought about being the opposite gender a lot as a kid. That's normal. And then you have people like me who are cis and are like, no, that's not normal. We don't think about that at all.
Yeah, no, that blew my mind because I thought it was normal, and I like straight up would be like, yeah, no, everybody thinks about what it would be like to be, a woman, and it would be how amazing it would be. Like I phrased it like that.
Yeah.
And then Jen just one day was like, no, they don't.
No, they don't.
I never think about
For
like
my mom's reaction, we just saw my mom and we mentioned it. She's like, no, I've literally never thought about being a man. I've thought I wish I could be like treated equal as one. That's about it.
Yeah.
And then when I was just like, son of a bitch.
But going back on the superhero power thing, like, so the powers would be completely random.
Yes.
What would you want?
Super speed.
You can eat whatever you want. That's why.
No, in fact, my grocery bill would be terrible. I want super speed, so I got that deadline, that art deadline. No worries.
Imagine the ADHDer with super speed still procrastinating to the last fucking... Yeah, no, 100%.
But you could procrastinate. Oh no, I have a minute left in this deadline. finish it like, sorry, it's like 3 minutes late. My bad.
I
Like,
would still be late, yes.
but like by 3 minutes, by nothing.
Yeah.
What about you, Deacon?
What about you, Leia? What would you want?
So, okay, mine's kind of weird. I would want the ability to peer through time and space, even if it's just as an observer and not actually able to interact, because I would just want to know shit.
I don't think that's that weird.
But if I couldn't have that, it would definitely be super speed. Everybody like would choose flight. I'd be like, no, I would like to be able to get my shit done.
Yeah.
And eat whatever I want.
Deacon, what about you?
The ability to control waves that we can't see.
Interesting.
Things like radio waves,
Yeah.
things like Wi-Fi, things like that. So essentially being able to increase or decrease somebody's like Wi-Fi signal, or like, you know, altering things like radio signals and stuff like that.
Yeah. That's a neat one.
It's a good one.
It would mean that, like, you know, if because you can also, like, people are affected by those waves. So if
Yeah.
in a defensive situation, you could just sort of like scramble somebody and stun them for a minute and peace out. But at the same time, it's like, you know, if somebody's putting some propaganda on the TV, you can just shut that down real quick.
Yeah. We'd also love to hear what powers you would all want in the comments. Now,
Oh,
I know,
definitely.
I know I keep saying in the comments, and I realize that podcast sites don't have a comment section. This is also going on YouTube. But if you want to tell us, at the end of the video, we do a nice outro with like all of our links and fun stuff. So definitely like find a way to tell us.
Yeah, no, we would love it.
speak to
Even if you
us,
just
it's
add us
fun.
on Twitter or social
Yeah,
media.
like just we're all over the place. But going back to it,
Do you think people would have a higher tolerance
do what?
to just, you know, each other in general? Or do you think it would just be like a full-on war?
No, I think it'd be about the same because like you'd have another reason. I feel bad. I keep like what sucks about when you talk about queer issues is like having to also then say like the straights or the heteros, and it always sounds.
That's more malicious than
It sounds
you
more
mean
malicious
it,
than you
yeah.
really mean it. Like,
Well, especially because whenever people are like, somebody help the straights, like all the time.
right. and I want to stress that like we are not here to pick on y'all, like not in the slightest. But it just sucks because like it would be another reason like phobes would hate queer people, which like makes me sad. It would just be another reason they'd get mad at like because let's say there's a superhero fight and then you're like I don't know the subway's delayed because of it. Who would they be mad at? The queer people. They're the ones with powers. So, like, it kind of sucks in that regard, where now there's, like, more shit we're being blamed for, but we're actually at fault for.
That is true.
Plus, it'd be like those people, because at the same time, it would be, you know, probably be another reason for, I mean, the people who are very phobic and or bigoted, to be like
Laws and regulations.
even more saying that we're like, you know, against their religion or abominations or
Yeah.
whatever else.
And that's the thing,
you know?
if this has been this way since the dawn of time, like, I don't know at this point who's in charge.
Oh,
If
Jesus
queer
wouldn't
people...
even be a thing, really, because everybody'd be like, yeah, well, that dude had superpowers. What the fuck's so special about you? You're the son of God? Really? Okay. Well, that guy over there can literally craft food from nothing, too.
I know.
What's your deal?
Well, I don't want to get into a whole philosophy about, like,
I think in some iterations in Marvel,
but-
too, they made Jesus a mutant.
Yeah, I could see it.
I can see. I don't remember if
but
it's true or not, or
that
somebody
being
was
said,
like...
I don't know if we'd still be in the same situation where there's, like, no queer people in Congress or in charge of things. But if
I
they...
think that would be possible.
Yeah, I think like it'd be more possible where we'd maybe in less of that situation because again, you wouldn't really be able to hide queerness at this point. It's more visible, shown. So I think we'd definitely be in a world where it's more understood that like, yeah, these people exist.
I tell you, Hitler would not have had shit.
Oh my god.
Yeah, no, World War II would have completely been different because a
Would've
little known
wrecked
fact.
it.
Yeah, no, a little known fact. A lot of people just focus on, and as a Jewish queer person, I can tell you this. A lot of people just focus on the Jews in World War II and the Holocaust, which is valid. However, it wasn't just the Jews. Hitler's regime targeted Romani, a bunch of other ethnicities, and really hammered in it on queer people.
Yeah.
They gave queer people pink stars. And so you would see an entire, like, oh, really? And then flames everywhere.
I like how we just keep talking about fire powers. Like,
Well,
that's
it's
gonna be the most
because
common.
it's the mental task
know.
because everybody calls us flaming.
I know.
Yeah.
What's interesting fact, I don't want to stray too far from our multiversial topic, but pink actually used to be considered a very manly color, and that's why it became a feminine color, was because of that, which I think is one of those, like, quote unquote fun facts that you hear about.
Yeah.
That
It
Hitler's
literally
just-
used to be the opposite. Like
Yeah.
baby blue used to be associated with girls, and pink used
and
to
that
be
Hitler
associated with
directly,
masculinity.
like, they tried to. It's so funny. I believe there were theories that they tried to effeminize Hitler by sneaking estrogen into his food to make him more irrational.
I would have to look that one up.
I heard that somewhere. I don't know.
That
if
would be
it's true.
ridiculous. Anyway,
Like, people back then, you thought the gender binary thing was way worse than it is
God.
today. People back then were nutty about it.
Yeah, it would. You're right, though. It would have been a very, very different situation.
So, like, the
'cause-
whole
Yeah.
way civilization would go would be different. And man, ancient Greece would have been wild.
oh my god.
oh my god, think about the Spartans, dude.
No one would have stopped the Spartans. That's all I'm
Be like, so
hearing.
basically it was all Sparta.
Yeah,
God.
nobody.
The U.S.
like,
doesn't
everything
exist.
is-
We're all
Yeah.
Sparta now.
We're all Spartans.
It's funny to think about, like, how humanity would have fared.
I know.
Christianity probably never would have taken root, though, if you're being real.
I don't
my
know. I don't
God.
know because it did exist before Jesus, didn't it? Like, I don't.
No,
Really?
no.
Oh.
Jesus was okay. So my wife,
All
do
right,
not
listen.
give her shit. She's not a religious person. She doesn't know this stuff. Wasn't raised in a religious family.
Well, here's the thing. Like, my parents were religious, but they never wanted to put it on me, so I didn't
So-
learn as much as I should have.
I'm gonna give everybody a quick lesson about this. Okay, so here's how it goes.
Okay.
Before Christianity, there was Catholicism. Before Catholicism, there was Judaism. Judaism is the first in the Christian, canon. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, and then after I think it goes.
I did just want to note, by the way, we are also not making fun of or claiming religion is false.
I don't know what's real or not.
Oh, right, like, we are not here. We're not atheists. For
I'm
the
just
most
saying,
part. I
like,
don't know,
theoretically speaking, you have a whole, like,
yeah.
culture that is very repressed and everything like that. It
Right.
does not accept homosexuality. They probably wouldn't exist in this world.
Right.
So there we go. That's
But
one.
no, but also if Christ is why the Bible exists, and if for whatever reason we didn't believe
a
him
lot of
because
cultures actually encouraged homosexuality. I found out recently, and it was
yeah,
wild.
no, what I'm saying is, because you talked about Christianity not existing at all, and I'm like, I mean, that's all dependent on the idea of if Jesus could not prove he was the Son of God,
Yeah.
right?
But I think nobody would believe him because they all could have external superpowers.
I don't know, like, that would
Yeah.
be a
Yeah.
tough situation.
Yeah,
because,
yeah. It's one of
like-
those things like what if? The what if by
Yeah, I
Marvel.
don't
But to answer your question, it goes Judaism, Catholicism, and then people in the Catholic Church. Then there was an offset of that, which was Islam. I think came before Christianity, and Christianity spread from as a subset of Catholicism because people were really mad at the Catholic Church, and then they were like, "Fuck you," and then they started their own branch, and then people further diluted that by saying "fuck you," and then there's Lutheranism, there's Mormonism, there's a whole bunch,
Right.
But the
And,
OG,
The entire reason that we have the whole Protestant thing is because
Yeah.
of Henry VIII.
yeah, who
Yeah.
did it all for divorce, and I think that is the funniest shit.
Oh, I also want to stress that there's nothing wrong with atheists either.
No,
I didn't want
nothing.
the way I ended. I'm like, that
I-
sounds like.
I
I'm like-
personally, I don't let people believe what they want. You just can't be a bigot.
There's a famous Superman poster, while we're on the subject of superheroes, I love, where he says, remember, if you see anyone bullying or judging someone for their race, religion, or like gender, like that's not American. We don't accept that here.
I love that
And I
was
love that
from the
poster.
fucking 60s.
Yeah, I know.
And I'm like, social justice warrior,
Yeah.
Superman?
No, I
What is
love
this
Superman.
SJW shit in my god?
The S stands for SJW on his world.
Yeah. But yeah, again, don't mock people for not knowing stuff.
Yes, and if they're not hurting anyone, don't mock anyone for their beliefs either.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, all get along together. But back on superhero. You know how, like, right now we have a whole wave of people wanting, like, POC and, like, queer folks in places because we're trying to expand their space because we need it.
Uh-huh.
That would be much different in this world if you think about it, because we'd have jobs that would look for specific superpowers.
Oh yeah, like My Hero Academia.
So,
But remember how Araka, she wanted to do construction work
I
because
forgot,
she could
actually.
make things
Yeah.
weightless.
right. I gotta I've been out of the loop. I last saw the
We're
Yeah.
very far behind. We
the
like to
license
binge
arc.
stuff.
Yeah, I need to like rewatch and go back to it. But that's what I'm saying. But I'm saying a literal job listing would be like, you know, look, we'd be looking for so many queer people for jobs for this.
No, and you can really like bounce off of that.
Yeah.
Totally makes sense. Avatar: The Last Airbender, Legend of Korra. Remember, like Mako worked in a factory generating lightning.
Oh yeah.
People would do that. Yeah. People, they'd be like, "Hey, we need somebody to explore the fucking ocean."
So, does this movie would possibly prove that like ghosts are real? If someone's superpower is to talk to the dead?
They could say it, but they'd have to show it. That's the thing. So they were like, show that you could actually do that. And then they go to kiss a person of the same sex. No. We get it, you're gay. But show us that the power works and you're not just like, you can't like just grow extra ass hair. Okay?
Hi, there.
Because that would
Why?
be the most useless superpower.
Ask my grandmother something only she would know. I feel like things would be, in a way, better and worse.
That's exactly how I feel.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
because we're excited, we're queer, we're talking about a lot of these positives, and I'm like, man, like, you would have people, and again, it really depends on the power struggle of who's in charge at this point.
Let's talk about that for a second,
Unlike-
like, if we're gonna get real. Why do you think, like, every time we talk about this from a queer perspective, it's to make the world a better place? I want people who want to be allies to really look at that, and look at that we look through the lens of the world in a very negative way. And we might, if you really want to help, start thinking from that perspective about why so many people would be, they love who they are, but they want more what? Acceptance.
Definitely.
To the point where they imagine fictional worlds where they don't have to struggle.
Right?
You know what would be great about this world, though? Archaeologists would never be able to say they were just great friends.
Could you imagine having to make the connection on why these people got superpowers, having to be the one who figured it out? Because at first it would just seem random. No one would actually know.
Like, wait, that person identified differently than the gender they were assigned to.
Who's got superpowers? Who here is straight? Oh no.
So it's just me? I'm the only one in town without a fucking partner and superpowers?
I mean, you have a point. People would be like, oh yeah, you know, David and Jonathan were gay. And then they'd be like, no, they were just, you know, great friends. And they literally slept
David
together.
could turn into a fucking dragon. It's recorded.
No. It'd be like, no, but they loved each other as friends. He could breathe fire. Are you kidding me?
We have fun
Oh
here.
my God.
So the woman who wanted goals of getting married the same day as her best friend, I guess she'd have a different perspective.
Oh yeah, no, everybody would have to basically go, well, I guess it's a thing, yeah. And I also want to point out, like, I do say I think more people are queer than, you know, we give them credit for, because they might not understand. Like, I recently had a friend find out she was bisexual.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so funny because we were talking about it, and we were talking about an interest in women and stuff like that, and they were like, like, I'm not interested in women. I mean, I have eyes, and I'm like, yeah, sweetie, that doesn't mean you're straight.
Yes, just because you've never been with a woman doesn't mean that you're straight.
Yeah, like getting a sexual attraction to a woman means you like women. If you're a woman, that means you're queer. And then they were like, what? Ni hao? And I was like, yeah, that means you're queer. We don't know if you're bi, pan, you could be demi. There's so many things. And she's like, shut up. And it is just mind-blowing that so many people really don't identify because they don't realize.
Yeah.
And that's okay. There are straight people. They exist, obviously.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be like every straight person is a closeted queer person. That's ludicrous. There are some people who are wired to just find the opposite gender attractive.
And there are definitely straight people. My mom wishes she was gay constantly.
Oh my God. At dinner, she was like, you two are so lucky being lesbians. I wish I didn't like men. And this is all in front of her brother, and I'm just like sweating bullets. And I'm like, I look at him and I'm like, I fixed my problem. I don't know about you.
I mean, I'm in the same boat. I wish I didn't like men either, but
Sorry.
I'm bi. I wish I didn't like men. Men, you're wonderful though. It's the you know exactly what type of dude we're talking about.
You know.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, in some ways, gay men are worse. So.
100%, yeah. And let me tell you, the dude we're talking about is someone who likes Bitcoin and NFTs.
Basically.
My God.
Just so everyone knows, being a tech bro is a red flag. Or just that's it. There is.
We have to do a podcast of just
no in between.
Just a podcast of what are red flags of people you don't want to interact with, and then basically it's just like a line of just NFT,
oh my God,
cryptocurrency. All right, so first off, let's ask both of you: is this world feasible?
God, I wish, but no.
Yeah, it's like I'm torn because I feel like if you kept it to like quote unquote realistic power sets in terms of like, how right now we have like psychics and empaths where you wonder, you're like, could it be? Like, there's kind of stuff I like maybe, but we were very outlandish about fire breathing, so I'm gonna say no because.
Why did we all fixate on fire? Is it because we're flaming? The three of us are quite. No, me and Deacon are quite flamboyant. You are very masculine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's just that's the quintessential like superpower. Like whatever you think of superpower is, you think of somebody being able to like control fire with their mind
or super strength.
Or super strength.
But fire rolls better.
Laser vision. But like the fire thing is usually the thing that sort of just sticks.
By the way, I should iterate. There's nothing wrong with being flamboyant or whatever. I just find it funny that Jen is like the most masculine person in my life. I'm the housewife.
It's true. She's my housewife.
I do it good. But if this were real, would you live there?
Again, like, I'm not someone who cares for superpowers, but if I had super speed, again, like, yes.
All right,
like,
let's say you have super speed, the power you wanted.
Then I would like to get my work done fast. So yes, I'm a workaholic, but like I also like my free time.
It is wild she fixates on that.
I do.
I love it. I wish I could be that driven. Said I got ADHD as my superpower. Oh, and the ability to perceive rain through pain.
True. Yeah, she's her own meteorologist. She knows what's gonna happen.
But I mean, it's kind of, yes, just because even if I didn't get the superpower that like I would want, like I feel like just having some sort of ability in general would
you
be
would
better.
do it regardless.
Yeah,
you would do it regardless. Jen would do it if she had super speed. She wouldn't. It's super speed or bust.
Super speed or
it
bust.
would make things more interesting and less boring.
And that's comes to be a lot of the questions that I pose on this podcast is I just want life to be a little bit more whimsical and interesting.
Which I get.
Which is why I'm restarting Beelzebub.
Yeah.
Our wonderful comic that you should all check out. Thanks for tuning in, everyone, into Multiversial and visiting this strange and dangerous world with us.
Special shout out to our sponsor tier patrons, Neji Komu, Shadow Rogues, and Chaos Bunny. You and all of our paid subscribers help keep us employed making free content like this podcast.
Big thanks to our judge Leia on picking our topic today. And for all of you loyal listeners, be sure to check out fierceferrets.com for all of the great stuff we make and links to our social media and Patreon to help support the show.
See ya in another time in another world, strangers.